All right, now we're live right here from Myrtle Beach at Tupelo Bay Golf Club.
Live from Myrtle Beach.
Live from Myrtle Beach. Can you friggin' believe this? Darren, why don't you go out in front of me here? We got a action-packed show. Here's Darren DeMaye. You heard him on the. Is that how you say it right, DeMaye?
DeMaye.
DeMaye.
Well, I like to say DeMaye. It's French.
DeMaye.
Right.
That doesn't sound French. DeMaye.
Well, DeMaye is French.
DeMaye.
But I say DeMaye. I Americanize it.
You Americanize it, huh? Good for you. Okay. Darren's going to be doing some instructing this evening, and I can tell you he's a very competent instructor. I'm very just thrilled to be around with him. We've been talking golf all day. He used to teach for Jack Nicklaus, so that was the best of the best of the best of the best. So he knows what he's talking about. And then we also have with us tonight, right here from Myrtle, we have right now the manager of the Tupelo Bay facility, who's given us 100% support here on doing our golf trips.
Will's been very supportive.
Yeah, here's Will Robertson.
Brotherton.
Will Brotherton.
Will Brotherton. Get a name like Jose Maria, something I can.
Hi, I'm Will. You didn't forget the last name?
There's Will, and he's the manager out here, and they got a beautiful facility. We're out here at the range right now. You can see it's well lit. They've got a lit 9 holes that you can play at night.
We got a 9-hole executive course you can play at night, and also a 9-hole pitch and putt course up front you can play at night as well.
And that has lights too.
Yep. So the driving range, 9 holes on the executive course, and 9 holes on the pitch and putt.
Well, we're going to be here. Whoops, there goes my iPad.
And your camera.
That was the end of that. Good thing this is not NBC.
Like the Golf Channel.
Look at this.
They're going on strike there.
Look at this.
That's how we roll.
Unbelievable. Hold on. How do you make this thing level again? Here you go. Hey, I'm doing better than Matt Lauer.
Oh.
He's a fellow guy from Sag Harbor.
No way, we can edit that part of the tape. We have coming here in just a short moment, Patrick,
the Pitbull.
The Pitbull
He's coming.
Wilkinson, who's going to hit some 300-plus drives.
Very impressive.
It's so impressive that Will was telling me today that the greenskeeper was complaining because the balls went over the fence into the greenskeeper's area over there.
Yeah, there was
the superintendent
dangerously close to hitting a few cars back there.
And his brother's here, Ryan.
Ryan, yes.
Who you've been preparing to go on tour.
Yeah, Ryan's an accomplished player, won quite a few college events. I wish he'd come take a few more lessons from me. We just got to get him motivated a little better. So.
All right, we're going to have him hit a couple balls so the guys can see him swing. And, of course, one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is what the hands do during the golf swing.
Yeah, elbows to
we had people that were asking about the hands, so that's our big topic for the night. And then we're going to have my good friend Jim Mason, director of golf at Pendleton Golf Club, where we're putting together a junior program to beat all junior programs. We're putting a junior Q school. You got to go through our Q school to even get in the program. With some of the high school players we have, they're doing so well. And there's probably a lot of stuff we can take from that to do over here with all the juniors and stuff you have here over the summer.
Sure.
So let's get started. What do you want to do first? You want to have Ryan hit a couple shots? Or?
You know, that would be a great idea.
Or tell us about what you think the hands do during the golf swing.
So the hands are, as Nicklaus would say, they need to be educated. And Toski would talk about having the hands educated as well. So there's a couple different things and functions of the hands. And some ideas that are kind of misleading. You know, we talk a lot about the release of the golf club and a couple different definitions of the release. You know, the most common concept with the hands, this would be the release of the golf club, where the hands and the forearms roll a little bit, right? The knuckles roll. This would be one definition of release. Nicklaus would talk about release where the golf club is the farthest point from the center of the body. That's how he would explain release. He's trying to get the golf club as far away from the center of his body. That would be his definition of release. So there's a couple different definitions of release in there, depending on what you've heard. So I like to think it's a little combination of the two. It's a combination of the rotation of the face and the extension of the left arm, right? That's how I would define release.
When do you start trying to release?
As soon as possible. Jack would say as soon as the left foot got to the ground, he's getting rid of the angle and he's rotating the face. So that would be the very first place to get released. Most people try to hold the angle to the last second and then let it go. And that's just going to cause problems and cause that golf ball going to the right. So it's going to be happening up at the top. It's a gradual rotation, but as soon as the shift goes a little forward, that's when the release starts to happen.
Okay. Now, that's a problem I have with a lot of folks. They think I'm telling them to cast it.
Right.
And it actually will feel like you're casting it sometimes when you're actually holding the angle.
Casting, to me, is when the golf club goes off a plane.
Correct.
That's, to me, what casting is. So
Right.
this, to me, wouldn't be casting.
Right. Exactly. But a lot of people don't think that way.
Yeah, and you know, you have to have the right information. You have to have the right definitions. Like we talked about 2 definitions of release there. So depending on.
Now we're going to try. We're going to do this a different way. Let me take a turn. And that I like doing this because Darren looks at it a little different than I do, but not that much. And it's interesting to hear what he just said about Nicklaus, which is great because when I get to the top, we get here. I feel like I'm actually drawing the club away from me, which is somewhat similar to what you said Nicklaus
Yep,
is saying.
absolutely.
So I'm actually throwing the. I feel like the more I go this way, the more angle I create. People want to go towards the ball, and I think that's where they get in trouble.
You get in trouble doing it that way.
Aha. Okay, so good. So you agree with that too?
Absolutely.
There you go. See that? And we didn't work that out ahead of time.
No.
This was live.
Yeah, it's all improv.
On the spot. Because the thing is, not everybody does things the same way.
Everybody's different.
You know,
it's like a fingerprint or a DNA. Everybody's got different instructions in there.
And I know because I had Freddie Funk. Was shaking hands with him on the range, the senior tour event, and he was bailing some shots out to the right. And I said, Freddie, why are you throwing your hip at it like that? He says, I just had a lesson, and they just told me I had to have more of a bump in the hip. I said, that's just keeping you from squaring it up. No bump. Clear the hip. Don't bump it. Clear it. And he started smoking, you know. But here he went to somebody that told him that.
Yeah.
You know, and so some of you guys don't feel bad that you've tried something because you saw, get the camera a little closer. Come a little closer to the camera there. Is that better? Are you happy now?
I know there's a lot of things to see right now, and not the prettiest of models. That's what we should have Ryan out here.
Where'd Ryan go? Ryan,
right behind you.
Hit us a couple of shots.
So Ryan, why don't you grab your sandwich?
Ryan's going to hit us a couple of shots here, and I want to open up the microphones for some questions. Where's I gotta just. My hands are so cold I can't. Who's got a question about the hands that we just went over? Anybody? Hello?
Bobby, I do.
Go ahead.
You talk about the release. Does the release just happen naturally, or are you supposed to physically roll your hands, you know, to square the club face from the
I'll
top?
answer first.
Or does it just happen naturally?
That doesn't mean either one of us are right or either one of us are wrong. I get rid of the golf club as fast as I can.
So I think I'd say the release of a golf club is a skill. And until you have the skill developed, you have to think about it. Okay, until it becomes subconscious, you have to think about it. So some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, I read where Nicklaus said, I feel like I have to get the club to the ball before the button's in my shirt.
Yeah. Yep.
Or Tiger said, the arms win the race.
Sure.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting rid of the golf club first. Not that I'm pulling it with my body and my body's dragging the club behind me like it was a banner on the back of an airplane.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Does that answer your question? If it didn't, I really don't care, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a free lesson here. Thank you.
You got it. You know what? Not exactly what you paid for it.
I'm kind of wondering about the lag. It doesn't look like if you're going to cast it or not cast it, but throw the club behind you. Where's the lag?
Okay, let me show you. If you don't mind, Darren, let me
Go for it.
learn it like this. I think the only way you loosen the lag happens this way. Look, I can hold the club with 2 fingers. I can have all this lag or whatever you want to call it, angular acceleration, as you want. As soon as I do this, club, as soon as I throw the body at it this way, boom, the club shoots. And as you transfer the weight like that, if your shoulders turn, you get what Darren said, and the club comes outside the plane. If the weight gets outside the plane, that weight is going to draw the club down. You can't help it. So it's a matter of keeping that club head if you look at it this way, behind you, here, you can have all the lag you want. As soon as you do this, it goes outside the plane. So Darren might explain it differently.
Oh, well said, Bobby. Couldn't say it any better.
Okay. Good. So we're sort of on the same network here. Just about. You ready to hit a couple shots? Throw some balls down for Ryan. Ryan here's going to hit a shot. It's Ryan Wilkinson. He's a golf pro at, what's the name of your course again?
Azalea Sands.
Azalea Sands?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's where they have Paul Belmont's daughter working. Paul, is that the one who's working at? Did she,
Susie and Sally.
services when she comes around and brings a beer?
That's right.
All right. Go ahead, hit it.
Just some little pitch shots out there, Ryan. Not much more than 30 or 40 yards.
Hey, Bobby, they let you wear jeans up at Azalea Sands?
If you're a VIP like he is.
So one of the things when Ryan first came, he took a lesson from me. He's just taken one lesson, hasn't come back. So maybe it hasn't really worked out well for him.
Maybe he was smart.
Me. He doesn't need me, I can promise you that. But Ryan, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about what we talked in that first lesson about as far as the setup to hit this pitch shot. You know, there's two different kind of setups. Okay, show us your old technique where you get the weight forward.
Talk loud enough so they can hear you.
You get the weight
The old
forward.
technique, you know, the weight was always forward. Ball was
Can you hear that, guys?
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
So
Go ahead.
the weight was forward on my left leg, and the ball was either middle towards the back of my stance. So that would create me to more or less dig at the ball a little bit. I go to Darren, and
You're doing it all wrong. You're doing it all wrong.
chunked about
He's
80
won several
wedges.
college events.
Chunked about 80 wedges right at the get-go, and discovered what the bounce of a club would do. And ever since, even though I haven't been back to them, ever since, my wedges have done quite a bit for me. So it's worked out. The bounce of the club, you're going to hit more shots, you know, within a certain spot. You know,
Now, what do you mean by using the bounce of the club?
using the bounce of the club? Well, you can explain.
Yeah,
better than
I
can.
would. It's really a shaft angle thing, right? So we took Ryan's shaft angle from here to more this way, maybe even with the hands a little bit behind. And what you can see here, and you see it there in the camera there, Bobby?
Right.
You can see the leading edge. As you lean the handle
Right.
more forward,
Right.
that leading edge is going to contact the ground. Now, if I move that handle back, you can see how that back edge or the bounce is going to start to interact with the turf. And that's basically what we did with Ryan,
So you're using the trailing edge to hit the ground.
using the trailing edge.
Yeah, but most guys, wouldn't they blade it?
Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, depending on the turf conditions, but by allowing yourself to use the bounce, you create a wider window of where you can hit the ground. So you not necessarily have to hit the ball first. You can hit the ground first and still hit a very good pitch shot. And I think that's what most good players do. They hit the ground first when they pitch, as opposed to hitting the ball first like we've been taught with our full swing.
Okay, that's interesting.
All right, let's see you to get another one.
Hey, Bobby, is he talking strictly about a sand wedge in the bounce?
Pitch shot.
Pitch shots.
Okay.
He's talking about a pitch shot.
Not too bad.
What I've always done is I try to
So are
use
you?
with the least amount of bounce on them, period. If I can find a 60
Yeah, me too.
with no bounce on it at all, I want it.
Me too.
Callaway made one for a while with no bounce on it.
Who do you do your insurance with?
I actually have a short question for you.
Go ahead.
When I try to do those typical kinds of pitch shots, instead of having a full swing, with my full swing I make good clean contact and I have a straight ball flight. When
Right.
I try to do my pitch shots, I'm always getting underneath it, almost always going directly to the right. Best guess as to why that might happen?
Well, the ball going to the right is a club face angle. But But I think what most people do with a pitch shot is they can't regulate the length of the swing that they need, or they have no idea of how much length they need. And that's where I think most people suffer. And I don't know if that's the case with you, Will, but
It was just a question.
All right. And Pitball's on the way.
yeah, he should be here any minute.
Okay, good. He's coming in. While you're hitting a couple
Hey,
shots,
Bobby.
let's get Jim Mason on the line. Jim, are you there?
I'm here, Mr. Lopez. Can you hear me?
Mr. Lopez, holy crap.
Where's your dad, Bobby?
Where's your dad at?
Where's my dad? If you find him, will you let me know who he is? Tell him he owes me some child support.
You have my utmost respect.
Plus interest over 50 years. I don't know, man. I played on the European tour. I had to pay child support in like 4 different currencies. All right, Jim. Let's tell him about this junior program that I'm really excited about. We got one of the kids that's coming out Saturday.
Yeah, we're excited about it. You know, like you said, they have to qualify for it. They can't just, they have to come out and show us that they're actually excited about and they have some skill. And I think we're really going to be, it's going to be a great program.
Yeah, I know. We have, let's see, is it April 5th? We got the dates. I'm going to put them online so everybody can have them in case you know a high school. We're only taking kids from like the 8th grade on, right, Jim?
That's right.
Right. No little kids.
Yeah.
This is 8th grade on that really want to compete at both the high school and the college level. They want to get on.
And it's really designed, it's really designed to prepare them for a college career in golf.
Now, Ryan, you play, what college did you play at?
Newberry College.
Newberry?
Newberry. Yes,
And
sir.
where's that at?
45 minutes west of Columbia.
Oh, of
It's
Columbia.
in the state.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Now, Columbia, it's hot there in the summertime, isn't it?
Can be.
Yeah, it
Yep.
can be.
As long as the wind's blowing.
But like when you play high school golf, what did you use for, working on your game? Did you take lessons from somebody or?
I did. Well, took some lessons from some of the local pros, and then also had my father who helped me out quite a bit.
Well, that's right. Your dad was in the business.
Only one lesson.
His dad was a golf pro. He only had one lesson with Darren. That's all he could take.
After he sat there and made me chunk 80 shots in a row.
Here's the problem. He didn't have to pay Darren. Darren paid him. No, but Jim, we're going to start having the qualifying schools over there. I'm excited about it. I think we've got a couple of kids right now already that are 2 of the 4 players on the state championship team were ours, and we've got Jessica's doing terrific. We don't have a big group. For you folks know, it's not going to be a big group. It's going to be a really good group, and they're going to have not only good golf games but good grades. Because if they don't make the grades, they get kicked off the team.
So Bobby,
That's right.
in the program that you guys are going to put together, you said there was a qualifying. How are you judging some of these juniors? Is it just based on score, or
No.
are there other criterias that you're using?
That's a smart question. Now I know why I hang around you. Did you like that one, Jim? Wasn't that good?
I read it right off the paper.
That's a good one.
No, yes, you're right. Grades, like I mentioned, seeing what kind of heart they have when they're trying. If we see what kind of potential they look like they do have, and do they listen? Are they able to change quickly when we ask them to do something? And a lot of attitude. Don't you think, Jim? What else would you put in there?
Work ethic, I think, their desire to take their career to the next level, maybe just, trying to get a college scholarship down the road, and, good tournament players.
Right, but if they're not, what we want them to be right off the bat, that's the whole idea. We want to have the ones that have potential to get in. They might not necessarily be crackerjack already. We know that. We're not going to only, if a kid comes in and he's shooting 95, but we think he's really got some potential, we might tap him and say, hey, you're in if you want to get in. So, it's sort of but that's a good question, though. It's a very good question.
And the reason I ask, I spent a lot of time around the Harmon family when I was working down in Florida, and John Harmon, one of Craig's son, would talk about the old man, talk about Claude, and how he would work with juniors and how he would hire staff. And what was most important to him was finding a quality individual and then really teaching them the game, right? As opposed to finding somebody who can really play the game at an elite level, but personality-wise and drive-wise and grit-wise just didn't quite have it.
Yeah, and it's a crapshoot, right, Jim? I mean, you try to pick the right ones, but we're going to make mistakes, and that happens. Coaches make mistakes. I mean,
Right.
your friends at Pittsburgh traded Johnny Unitas.
Yeah, don't remind me.
And I think they missed a guy out of Miami, Dan Marino.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, it happens, right? I mean, you make bad choices, but one thing I'm very proud of, I don't know if all you guys know, but Jim's son, who I almost consider like my nephew, is about to graduate from Hampton, Sydney. So, Jim, you did a great job with that, and that's the kind of kids we want. He's gotten to Hampton, Sydney, gotten good grades. It's a tough school, got high academics and everything, and that's what we want. The kids that are going to make good grades, they're going to do well, and that are going to use golf all their life. Whether they become golf pros or not, who cares? But they're going to use golf all their life. That's what we're looking for. Help improve their life by playing golf.
Absolutely.
Couldn't
have said it better.
All right, Paul, you got anything else to add there, partner?
I don't think so, unless you want to talk about, maybe some specials for everybody at Pendleton if they come on out this time of year.
Yes. Not only that, as I got Will here, who's the manager at Tupelo Bay, tell him about, we have a lot of people that come down from up north, coming to Myrtle Beach. They stop at your place and play around the golf because it's about the midway point, and we can hand out some stuff on Tupelo Bay when they get there.
Absolutely. We'd be more than happy to do that for you guys.
And we do the same.
Yeah, we get
hand out some stuff and say, when you're driving down, stop at Pendleton. Go ahead and tell us the specials.
Well, we're so close to 95. That's the best part. We get a lot of people from, New York, Pennsylvania, even Canada coming down, going to Myrtle Beach, and it's a good stopping off point. So we get a lot of people from up north, and then they can just jump on 95 and be in Myrtle Beach in 5 hours. So, but this time of year we're in winter rates, so it's only $38 during the week. But we also have a stay and play package over the summer, where you can get a nice discount. We have a hotel we work with about 8 miles up the road from us. So
it's brand new.
If anybody's interested, they could just give me a call at Pendleton and we can get it all set up.
Tell them the number. You can go to pendletongolfva.com. Is the website, and the phone number there is
804-448-4727.
You got it. Oh, here's Steve just sent a text message in here. Hold on, let me tell you, it's a real nice one here. It says, Pendleton's great course. I've played it many times, and I live 45 minutes away in King George, Virginia.
There you go.
They drive that far just to go play at Pendleton. Where's Pendleton?
We appreciate it.
Not yet.
We're getting close. Okay, any other questions? Anybody got a question about the swing or anything that Darren can help you with?
Hey, Bobby, when you guys are talking about the wedge play, are you trying to be more shallow with the shot or steep? Or is there a difference with like a 60-degree versus a...
Huge difference. Shallow is by far your greatest chance. And the more shallow you are, the wider the window is at the bottom that the ball can be in. The steeper you are, you're really limiting the area that the ball needs to be into about this if you're really steep. If you're shallow, that ball can be in this window and you can hit a pretty decent shot. So shallow. The best explanation I can give is an airplane landing. You want that airplane landing at the right angle, nice soft landing, as opposed to a crash landing into the runway.
You haven't flown on Air Mexico.
Air Mexico.
You fly on Aero Mexico, you'll find out what a landing is like. No, now that's funny you say that. Now, if you want to put a lot of spin on the ball, don't you need to be a little steeper?
So spin is a very misunderstood concept. The biggest way that you can spin a golf ball is just by clean contact, right? So think about the last time you bladed a shot, right, where it was just club face and ball, really thin, maybe middle of the ball. That ball's going to be spinning a lot because of the clean contact. So there's friction there. So the less friction you have, the less the ball is going to spin. So you want clean contact. Not necessarily is it a downward hit, right? Spin can be generated really with friction.
By catching the ball against the club face, no grass in between.
Correct, right. But it has really nothing to do with it. So imagine, I'll give you 2 examples here. Okay, let's imagine that this top finger is the club face angle, okay, and this bottom finger is the angle of attack on the golf ball, right? So this area in here, this angle in here, is going to be your spin rate. This is how much spin you generate. So I can hit down on the golf ball and have the same spin rate, and I can hit up on the golf ball and have the same spin rate. So hitting down or hitting up necessarily doesn't change spin rate. Okay? A lot of it has to do with cleanliness of hit.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So same concept. I was watching the other day about sand bunker play, where this guy was saying you want to really just nip the ball off the top of the sand instead of hitting 2-3 inches behind it like they teach you. He's saying just nip it off the top, so that's how the pros create the distance control and spin. I don't know if that's correct.
I take very little divot myself. Nicklaus was a picker.
Yep.
He was a picker, and I'm a picker too. I mean, in fact, I've been a picker all my life. I was a picker in Venezuela. I was a picker in California. But
much.
Yeah, you don't want to hit it heavy. Anytime you get anything between the ball and the club face, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. So, what I'd practice is just hit some pitch shots off of a tee. Not many people practice hitting a pitch shot off of a tee. And if you do that with a nice clean club face, you'll see how much more spin you'll get. The flight of the shot will come down, and you'll watch it as it hits the ground, how it reacts. So try that. Try and hit some pitch shots off of a tee.
In fact, I had a lady golfer the other day for a lesson with her husband, and I said, tee the ball up in the fairway. Tee it up and just wean down, tee it up just a little bit and just make it a little shorter and shorter as you go along. And at least don't be miserable on the golf course trying to hit the ball flat off the ground and you're not ready for that yet. So anybody who's just starting out, don't be afraid to tee it up in the fairway and at least hit a decent shot. Keep the game moving.
Yeah.
Have fun. Have fun, exactly. Why be miserable? But yeah, he's right. Trying to just take a tee and put it in the ground and clip the tee isn't a bad idea. Don't you think, Darren, or what?
Yeah. Yep. It'll help you find where the bottom of the swing is. Some people need it.
Right. And you can do that. Any other questions? We're waiting for Pitbull. He'll be here any minute. He's probably just arrested somebody.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And it might be us. Any other questions? Come on, there's got to be a question. We weren't that good.
The crowd here, Bobby.
Show us your pitching stance.
Show us your pitching stance.
Okay, so I'll show you the pitching stance from two different views.
Yeah, Ryan looked a little loaded up on his left leg to me.
So,
is that true or am I wrong?
Well, we're trying to keep him away from doing that.
Yeah, it's just 4 years of doing it.
Oh, so you did used to load up on your left leg a lot.
I used to be 100% on the left side, where I could pretty much pick my right foot up and hit. And now I'm trying to balance it out. And
I got you. Okay,
that's
good.
where I was. Yeah.
So you see, everybody's working on something. Everything's working on something, and you don't fix it. Here's the one thing that kills me, Darren. I tell you, guys will think, okay, you tell them. So let's say I tell Ryan that. I say, I think you're a little loaded on your left side. They think, okay, well, just fix it in 2 seconds. It doesn't fix that easy because you've gotten so used to being in one position that it's real hard to get your brain to accept the other field,
And with Ryan's case, he created a habit, right?
Yes.
When he got that weight forward, it was a habit for him. And to break a habit, it's not really easy.
Not only that, once he gets his weight on the right side, all he's got to do is chuck one shot. He says, screw that. I ain't doing that anymore.
That's basically what he did.
Yeah.
Screw Darren.
So when I had to do it, I had to progress from 100% of my weight on my left side. Right. Then I had to feel like, I was doing 90, and then 80, and then 70.
So you
have to work
lean
your way
into
back.
it. Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right. That's it. All right, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Because you were talking about wedge stance.
So back to stance of wedge, right?
Right.
So I like to see the stance very, very narrow. And there's a specific reason for that. Is because the narrow stance allows me to take my legs out of it. And if you can keep the legs out of it, right, the legs are going to add lag, right? And if you can keep the legs out of it, you won't have that lag in there. And anytime you get the lag going, right where that shaft is leaning forward, you start to dig. So I like to keep the legs and the lag out of it. So that's why I keep my feet really, really narrow. And then from a down the line view, I like to be really square. I don't like to be open, because the more open with my stance, the more that golf club's going to want to swing out and up. And I really want that club coming in from a shallow angle. That's why I like to see everything square when pitching. That gives me my best chance.
Okay, here he is. He's here. Pitbull. But that's a little different than, like, for instance, I stand open.
Sure.
Because I feel like I can align better.
Yeah.
I can see the hole better.
And I'm trying to accomplish certain things with the width of stance and the squareness of stance. But it doesn't work for everyone, right? Bobby's a little bit open. There's lots of players a little bit open. But what I'm giving you is I'm giving you a formula for the highest percentages, right? Your best percentage for hitting with a shallow approach is to be a little bit more square, not open. If you're going to get open, that's fine, but just understand that the club's going to want to swing up and down a little bit.
Okay, here's a question somebody just sent in here. How do you take spin off the chip shot to keep it from checking up too quick?
Well, you go to your golf cart and you get a bottle of water and you pour it on your club face. That ball's not going to have any spin, I can promise you, because water is the biggest deterrent of spin. You know, I played a lot of golf tournaments where I was the first one out.
I hate that.
First one out, those fairways are wet.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of flyers. It takes you a few holes before that sun comes up, and you can start controlling your ball a little bit better. So having no spin is not a good thing either.
Yeah.
Hey, Darren.
Go ahead.
Just quick question. How do you control the distance of the pitch shot? Is it through your backswing, or is it through the speed of do you slow down the swing speed?
So that's a good question. So what I like to think of it as is that the club is moving a certain speed, the ball is moving a certain speed, and the distances match up with that. So if I want to hit a 20-yard pitch shot, I need my golf club moving at 20 miles an hour, I need the ball moving at 20 miles an hour, and it ends up 20 yards. So I do that strictly with length of swing. And there's 3 specific lengths that I use. I like to use a ground swing where the shaft points down to the ground back and through. I like to use what I call horizon. Horizon is at this level here where I'm waist high, back and through. And once again, it's a mirror image. And then the last length is what I call sky, where the shaft points up to the sky on each side. So I think 3 different lengths is what most people can comprehend. Elite players, they get different levels in there, but I think 3 is kind of the limit for most people.
Yeah, I feel like, and I'll tell you what, this was the one thing I noticed about Nicklaus the first time I ever played with him, and this was in Spain. And he would hit a pitching wedge shot, for instance, with a big swing in slow motion. It's like he took a whole swing like he was hitting a driver, but in slow motion, it just awed you to death. It was just awesome just to see it. And he would like float the ball all the way to the hole. And I picked up on that, and I've always done that. I use a big swing in slow motion. And then I think the tempo of the swing is providing the energy to make the ball go a certain distance. If I swing, but I can literally feel it. Now, if that's not a good way for a person because they can't really feel that, they need another method,
Yeah, I mean, whatever method works.
But did you see that with Nicklaus when you were working with him?
I did,
yeah. Did you notice that he takes a wedge and he takes a big swing in slow motion, and he can just float the ball.
Yeah.
And land it just goes plop.
And Jack had what Jack would call was 3 different pitch shots: a low, a medium, and a high trajectory. And I think that he had those 3 different heights because he only used a sand wedge. Most of us have lob wedges in our bags and other clubs that we can use to hit different heights. But when Jack was growing up, the equipment was a little bit different, and he never changed his equipment. All of his equipment was from the old modern standard, which nowadays, I'll give you a quick story. Jack was playing with Phil Mickelson at the Treetops. It's a par 3 golf course. And there were times where Jack was hitting 6-iron and Phil was hitting a pitching wedge. But their clubs really weren't that different because of the lofts on them. right? Even though it was a couple of clubs different, the standards of loft changed quite a bit, and Jack never changed those. Never changed.
Yeah, his 5-iron is probably
pitching
only like,
wedge was right around 50 degrees.
and his 5-iron is probably like about 37 inches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So it's changed over time, but.
All right. Well, Pitbull is here.
He's here.
And that's what they're waiting to see.
You got a speeding ticket on the way over here? There's
Almost.
no,
So,
no,
Pitbull, we understand you're a police officer.
I am North Myrtle Beach Police.
Well, let me tell you something. We thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
We thank you. I tell you, we support you 100%.
Hey, we need as many people as we can supporting us.
Well, listen, you have a difficult job. I was raised in a generation where when you got stopped by a police officer, you said yes sir, no sir, yes sir, no sir, and you stood still.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you didn't move. That's what my grandfather taught me. He says, you say yes sir, no sir, and don't move.
Absolutely.
Now look at how high he's got that ball teed up. Holy Maron.
So Rick, while you're Pat, while you're warming up, when I first met Pat and we first started working on being a little more efficient for the speed that he's swinging it at, that's the first thing that I noticed was his tee height, and he was teeing it really, really low. And the reason that we want to move the ball away from the ground is because it's going to give us the opportunity to move the club away from the ground. And that's when you can really start to be efficient for this. So tee height plays a big role in what you're doing when it comes to long drive. I think most people just tee way too low.
I agree with that. I mean, I tee it up as high as I can tee it.
Yep.
Not that it does me any good, but I tee it up as high as I can tee it. Took me from 190 to 195 overnight. All right, hold on. I got to announce them on first. Now on the
Where's the
tee,
music at?
winner of the Cucaracha Open.
All right, first swing out of the truck.
First swing out of the truck. Here he goes. Maron. Now listen, you guys. Whoops! He hit it so far the camera broke. Wait a minute. We should have brought some tape or something for this camera. We need one of those surveillance cameras he has. Here we go. You got to make your backswing a little longer. What's going on here? Can we throw this again?
Right.
What is that, a 4-degree driver?
Yeah, tell him about the driver, Darren.
So Pat's got it's a 5-degree driver that we've got tuned down to 4 degrees, but we're looking to get him a lower lofted one so he can swing up on it even a little bit more. And it's got a XXX Patterson shaft in it. And then what's the length of it? 48 inches.
And the club has an extra incentive because he knows if it doesn't perform properly, he's got a Glock 40 on his belt. He'll just blow that club to smithereens.
What's his club head speed?
So right now he's about 130, but he just got out of a 4-hour car ride, so he's some of our goals with his club head speed are to get in the mid 140s.
Yeah, Darren has a TrackMan, by the way. And for you guys that want to join us on this trip to Myrtle Beach, you're gonna meet Patrick, and you're gonna be able to hit balls on the TrackMan. Right here at Tupelo, they got a really nice par 3 course. We're gonna first get in Thursday evening, go to the par 3, play the par 3, then come back over here, and Will's gonna have set up for us beer and wine with some hors d'oeuvres and everything. We'll watch Patrick hit some balls, and then Darren and I are gonna work with your swings a little bit. Then you're gonna go night. And the next morning, we're gonna wake up and get to work and go play golf. I think what I'm gonna do.
So what do you do? What are you doing to build club head speed other than just swinging faster?
Well, if I could, if what kind of conditioning are you doing?
Well, isometric training. Darren actually helped me out with that as far as. Have you explained that to him yet at all? Chance?
No, not yet.
Okay.
You can do that real quick. Here. So we'll use this bungee here.
You could use that for arresting Cubans too. You wrap it around your neck. There you go. He's going to do it. He's going to hang him.
Really, what we'll do is just take our normal stance. We'll do 10 sets. Hold the band up.
Right.
We'll select the weight. Just make sure that there is going to be a heavy resistance and whatnot. Hold it up here. Seconds. 10 sets of it. All right. And then we transition going down to.
So this would be the next area.
So you do 10 sets of that.
Yes, sir.
And then you pull. Do you hook that up on something, or is Darren just hold it?
Yeah.
Where you can do the in the gym. I know the Myrtle Beach Aquatic Center, they have it. Anywhere you would do tricep push downs.
Right.
It's like you select the weight and push straight down with it. I use that. It has the weight that I need or whatever, and you can select the distances, or how high you want it, how low you want it. It usually works out fine. So that's where I go with that. So we sit up here. That's the next one. Same thing, 10 sets, 10 reps each, or 10 seconds each. And then the final, we are close here. And usually what I like to do also, I forgot to say, is I'll take away my right hand and hold it with my left hand, so that's what I'm going to swing with.
All right.
So that's some of the training. And then you got, as far as conditioning, just normal running, sprinting, the whole 9 yards. A lot of leg work in the gym, squats, deadlifts, and whatnot, just building sheer strength. Obviously heavy weight, low reps, and that's pretty much it.
So you do heavy weight, low reps.
Yes, sir.
You don't combine it with some lighter weight with more reps back and forth, or?
Not necessarily. Not if we're trying to get stronger.
Okay.
Obviously we want to build as much strength as we can. Yet stay flexible at the same time. So there's a lot of stretching that goes involved too. Working a lot of the core, along with a little thing called Russian twist is what I like to do. Pretty much take a medicine ball, lay back, make sure you get a good stretch in that core. So.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Bobby, I'd rather be chased by you than that police officer.
Yeah, because you might be chased by me. All you got to do is throw me a few bucks. They do it. We got stopped in Cuba, see. We were there last October. I was in Cuba. And we got pulled over by the cop in Cuba, see. And he pulls us over, and then and I didn't want to get a rental car. I said, we're better off having a taxi driver drive us around because you can't, you're a foreigner, driving a rental car. And sure enough, he pulls Juan, who was driving, over to the side and talks to him, and he starts telling about how things are really bad in Cuba, and he's got 3 kids, and 2 of them are sick, and this is going to be 100 peso multa, if you throw me 60, we'll forget about the whole thing. So he gave him 60 Cuban pesos, and that was the end of it. We moved on. That's how you do it in Cuba. Okay, I'm going to try and video this one. Go ahead and do one more. So I'll have this. Hold on here. Go ahead. This should work, I hope.
There we go.
No, it didn't record. I got to get this thing to record. I'm not used to using it this way anymore. All right, screw it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, is that illegal if you shoot somebody?
Is it illegal if you shoot somebody? It depends if they catch you. Any other questions?
I mean, see, I wouldn't even mind that flight, Rick. If you're
Any other questions? If not, we'll call it a night.
You just got that up to 42.
Throw us some other questions here. Anything? Trent, you got a microphone?
Read you that message.
What was that?
I'm here.
Are you there, Trent?
I'm here.
All right, I'm going to see you Saturday. And remember that video we looked at? We were looking at the idea of the club being on the upswing, and that was going to add your distance.
Yes.
Now you see how that's what he's doing too. See that? Look where he's got the ball position, way up on his left toe. Way up on his left toe, he's going to hit the ball on the upswing. Whoa!
I hope you're recording this because
you got to come down here to the so you can see this live and in person, because I tell you what, it's unbelievable. And I tell you what, we wish you all just stay safe, will you? Put eyes on the back of your helmet when you're out there, because people are crazy. It's a tough job being a policeman today, I tell you.
Hey, Bobby, can you take the iPad and go down the line view so we can see it go out into the driving range?
He just caught one, and that puppy is gone. Well, I'll tell you what, it won't be able to happen because, look, see, if you look down this way, well, let's see. Go ahead. Let him hit another one. Let's see if you can see the ball.
I was thinking right from behind him, but...
Well, yeah, I know, but I can't. I haven't got enough cable.
Gotcha.
We'd have to lift the table, the computer. You just see it sort of take off, and it disappears in the dark.
Tell him to move over to the right. The camera.
Just hit one over here in these houses.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Now we can see it down the line.
Look at this. Oh, God. Did you see that?
Boom. Yeah, I saw it go about 220 miles an hour. Ball speed.
Pretty close. How do you take spin off your chips? Oh, we already answered that one. Okay, any other questions? Now we'll call it a night. We don't want to wear Patrick out. All right, gang, I hope you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun.
Thanks.
We're going to be sending out all the information on our trip to Myrtle Beach. We're going to be sending out the information on our junior Q school at Pendleton Golf Club. And also you heard the specials that Jim has going. Come on out and play at Pendleton. We'd love to see you. I'm going to be there Saturday myself. So thanks a lot and good night.
Have a good one, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby, thanks.
Thanks.
Good night, Bob.
Bobby.